Good afternoon from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, of course, on a bitterly cold, rainy day coming from down here, just on my travels, where I think I'll stay until about Sunday. Look, so I get an idea today, and in that institutional life and living that life of crime for decades, you will be open to meeting some real horrible people, not just inmates, of course, prison officers alike. So I'll give you one today, and I could probably only, in my whole life, I could probably only count about 4 or 5 of the ugliest, horriblest human beings to wear a prison uniform and abuse their power because they got a set of keys. And it happens in a lot of institutional places as well, but they're very few and far between because the majority will do their job properly. But we start with one, and his name was Mr. Roer, and he was on the Isle of Wight. Now, I got a sixth sense, right, over the years, that when you bump into certain officers on the first meet, just by the look in their eyes, they look so horrible and they don't like anyone. Often the smaller ones, right, apart from someone else I'll talk about at the end of this video, often the smallest ones, the ones that can't have a row, the ones that probably got bullied at school, maybe even subjected to criminals doing things to them in some kind of formal way. But he, as soon as I met him, I was on the induction wing in Parkhurst, right? And every time I had to go medical visits and he was on duty at the gate, he always used to stand in front of me. Got anything in your pockets? Complete liberties, but always when other officers were there or nearby, or, he had 2 of his cronies with him. So you knew that he knew what he was doing whilst he was being horrible, unnecessary, and no reasoning behind it to treat people like that. But you're always going to meet prison officers, ladies as well, certain, but not too many. But they really are out to get you and make your life difficult, because in them surroundings, you can basically do what you want to an inmate. You can write up bad write-ups in the book and say, I saw them dealing, or I saw them, but you never. To get back and just to be horrible and ruin inmates' lives, or stopping them from progressing and things like that. When one report put them on adjudication, nicking sheets we call it, by saying, I found this in the cell and that in the cell, and go down there again with no evidence whatsoever. But you are in a position of power in those surroundings, and everybody will tell you that. The worstest thing this man ever did, and it was coming, it was really coming. I wasn't there at the exact time, but I was next door in Albany prison on the Isle of Wight. So I got moved from Parkhurst, right, round about this time. And what he did, right, he caused a riot. And what you do when you have jobs like this, because your colleagues will have to back you up. When you say he's threatening me and blah, can you come with me, and you unlock the door and then you come in. But your colleagues don't really want to do it because they know that you're full of shit and you probably caused it, but they'll go along with it because it's all for one and one for all, if you get what I mean. You're on the team. It might happen to you soon. I might have to back you. Not that Mr. Roer would have been able to back anyone with anything, really. Walks into another inmate cell that I knew from the outside and the inside, one of the fittest geezers, and a proper geezer, right? I'm not going to call his name, but we'll just say Thomas, all right? He walks in the cell, bolts and bars, right? In the mornings or daytime, they come in two-handed, one-handed, and walk in and tap the bars to see if you're trying to escape, or start lifting up your battery. You got anything under the bed? It's not a cell search or anything. It's only bolts and bars to see, are you covering up anything at the window or making holes in the walls? And you do your checks, and you're allocated as a prison officer certain ones different days. When you're on duty, you will have to carry out that duty. right? It's in every prison in reality. He walks in, he sees my mate's photographs on the wall of his kid, his missus on holiday, and walks past the picture board and tears down all the photos off the board and said, you're not allowed to have them up there. You got to put them on paper. So I think he said to him on the words of, what are the picture boards there for? It was an unnecessary argument caused by just being horrible, right? And so he's done all that and left it there, and my mate's looking at him in shock and thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? That's my kids and all that. Wicked thing to do. Do you know that sparked the riots? Sparked the riots in Parkhurst, as far as I'm concerned, right? Allegedly, of course, I'm saying. And it all ended up in a courtroom. He ended up being paralysed, Mr. Roper, because he'd done it to everyone else over the weeks and months as well, wherever he was in that prison. And so that in the night, everybody kicked off. Not the people that, the things happened to, of course, right? But it all went tits up. Mental. Big warm battles going on all over the wing. The gates locked. All the mufti and the art, everybody coming. Some of those inmates got bad beatings after that. Probably nearly died and put in vans and driven around the country and all them kind of things there. But justice prevailed on that. Everybody got found not guilty. This is what I mean by one loose cannon working in a field of such tender, sensitive subjects, if you like. Might find another word for that. Can undo and sink a whole bloody ship. All right? See you all soon.